heard about E?
Don't be undertrying to my shit on the
Moneybags, firm, baby. Queens in the house, representing firm. That's enough. If it ain't rough, it ain't right.
Him and Supreme got into some sort of, argument over some money, over a car or something like that.
Over $1,000. I just looked at him, man, and I say, E, that is Josh. I get a call saying that, they had E.
From the 90s to the early 2000s, hip-hop began to evolve into something its pioneers dreamed it would be. It was growing to become one of the most popular and profitable genres in the music industry. But there was a dark side lurking in the mist. Hip-hop became a way for persons living for the street life and crime to make a way out. The problem was, the two lifestyles often clashed and became an outlet to escalate issues with rivals rather than quell them. One rapper by the name of Eric Smith, aka E Moneybags, was at the heart of a scenario similar to this, which led to his life being lost. Born in Brooklyn, New York, he made a name for himself as a stick-up kid, turned ruthless gangster not to be trifled with. Having risen to become one of Brooklyn's most feared with a budding rap career, E Moneybags, like many rappers and persons affiliated in the streets, wanted to flash with the best. That brought him into contact with another ruthless kingpin in the city by the name of Supreme. Supreme ran a notorious dope crew named the Supreme Team, and within his affiliates was a female by the name of Z, the late rapper prodigy of the rap duo Mobb Deep, who was a good friend with E Moneybags, spoke in depth of the events that took his life in his book, My Infamous Life. Allegedly, in December 1999, E Moneybags connected with Z to purchase a luxury vehicle from Supreme. A $1,000 deposit was requested to secure the deal, and it was paid without hassle as it was chump change compared to the level of finances in E Moneybags' possession. This, however, is where things took a turn for the worst. E Moneybags, for certain reasons, had a change of heart and wanted to purchase a higher-end vehicle from elsewhere. This led him to request a refund of his $1,000 deposit from Z, but Z responded with the words that lit the fuse on a ticking time bomb. She would let E Moneybags know her boss, Supreme, instructed her to refuse refunding his $1,000 deposit. For a regular citizen, this would have ended right then and there without bloodshed. But E Moneybags wasn't a regular citizen. In his mind, anger fumed, leading his thoughts to one of revenge over what he considered disrespect from Supreme. E Moneybags felt he was being belittled and treated beneath the caliber of gangster he was. On December 11th, 1999, E Moneybags had his chance to put his evil thoughts into play. Like fate falling into his hands, he would see Supreme inside a vehicle as he was exiting the Coliseum on Jamaica Avenue. Armed and fueled with anger, there was no stopping what came next. E Moneybags brandished his firearm and fired several shots into the vehicle in an attempt to take the life of Supreme. But the same fate that crossed their paths was the same fate that had other plans for Supreme that day. In a stroke of luck, or maybe a miracle, Supreme survived the attack unscathed. Sadly, the same couldn't be said for his affiliate, Colbert Johnson, known by his street alias Black Just, who was a high-ranking member of the Supreme Team. Black Just was wounded in the attack, but being fearful of having police on his trail, Supreme stalled in getting Black Just directly to the hospital for treatment. Instead, the New York Post reports that he had Black's body dropped off at Queens Hospital in an SUV registered to a phony company called Tuxedo Rental. E Moneybags was ruthless, but he had a heart. He wasn't about hitting those not intended to be targeted. He would confide in other reputable underworld names, like Bimmy, showing his remorse for ending the life of Black Just.
So I'm sitting in my office, and E Moneybags walk past, and he stops and come back and close my door. Now I'm off my desk already. I'm off my desk, and he came to me. He said, "Bim, that wasn't for just like that." He said that wasn't for Just. I just looked at him, man, and I say, E, that is Just. He's dead.
E Moneybags knew that Supreme wasn't going to let his actions go unpunished and that a hit was placed out on him. At the time, Prodigy was close with E Moneybags. One of his friends and former affiliate of Supreme, named Green Eyes, tried to warn him about staying around E Moneybags because he knew it was only a matter of time before Supreme's men got to him. That day would come on July 16, 2001. E Moneybags was at a family cookout at his close friend and rapper Majesty's house in Queens, New York. As the story goes, E Moneybags and Majesty were in Moneybags' Lincoln Navigator. Minutes before tragedy struck, Majesty would leave to go into the house to go get some food, not knowing that Supreme's affiliates were monitoring E Moneybags until the right time to make their move. As Majesty was gone, reports state that 4 suspects appeared and sprayed the vehicle with up to 40 bullets before fleeing the scene. Eric Smith, aka E Moneybags, was hit upwards of 10 times about the body, dying on the spot. E Moneybags was said to have his firearm in his hand when he passed away. Being someone who lived a life of crime, he probably put 2 and 2 together about what was about to happen at the first glimpse of the suspects, but by that time, it was too late to return fire to save his life. E Moneybags was well respected, and his affiliates were no less ruthless than him. So Supreme's retaliation didn't simply end there. He now had to cover all bases by taking out other rivals that may want to take revenge for E Moneybags. One act of pulling the trigger, hitting Black Just, escalated an already tense situation to a string of bodies lying in cold blood, as stated by rapper Sauce Money.
And it didn't stop there. They would use certain people because there were still people out there that were major threats. And even though they killed E, there were still people out there that they couldn't be comfortable because these guys were serious people that wasn't just gonna let that go.
Supreme might have lived through any retaliation attempts, but in that life of crime, there are more enemies than just those in the same line of work. In February 2007, the law served a hefty side of justice to him. Supreme was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the 2001 slaying of rapper E Moneybags and Tony Singleton. Prosecutors were aiming for the capital punishment by lethal injection, but Supreme dodged that bullet. Still, he will never see outside prison walls for the rest of his life. Reports reveal that Supreme paid hitmen a sum of $50,000 to commit the revenge hit in his name. Not only that, but in a police raid at his house, a videotape was recovered that showed his affiliates recording E Moneybags' moments before they set his body ablaze with bullets. The heartbreaking video shows E Moneybags before he was attacked. Boys raced on bikes, and a mother strolled by carrying a young child while he unsuspectingly sat in his SUV just minutes from his passing. With the surmounting evidence against him, Supreme's jail time was inevitable. A couple, 38-year-old Dennis Devine Crosby and 42-year-old Nicole Brown, were also charged with their involvement in the hit of E Moneybags. According to reports, they were the ones who filmed the tape and assisted in planning the hit. E Moneybags made it out of the dangerous lifestyle that molded him, but he was too caught up within it to be fully free, and ultimately, it became his end. Bimmy recited some potent words of wisdom in a Vlad TV interview that was a perfect depiction of what led to E Moneybags' downfall. He said, "When you have pride and ego steering the car, you never get to where you're trying to go. If cooler heads prevailed, E Moneybags would have cut his losses with the vehicle and took it as a sign to remove himself from those connections and lifestyle. If that were the reality that occurred, then maybe, just maybe, he would still be alive today. Rest in peace, E Moneybags."